¿Qué pasa, everybody? On today's episode, we're taking a look at Mezco's latest Power Ranger release, the White Ranger. This is the second release in this Mezco Power Ranger line, as we're still waiting on that big 5-pack of the other Power Rangers. This will give us a good look to see the potential of how well the other ones might be. How good is this figure? Are there any issues? And is this gonna make you wanna dive in for that 5-pack? But let's not waste any time, let's take a look at the box. Front of the box, you get the image of the White Ranger in the martial arts pose. Side of the box, you get the image of the Power Coin. Back of the box, you get another image of the White Ranger. And that's the box, you guys. Let's not waste any time and say those two magic words.
Oh, baby.
Here we have the White Ranger, not completely out of his packaging. A lot of accessories comes with this guy, and I'm not trying to lose it and have it all on the floor. When you initially open it up, there's a lot of plastic around the figure, and there's a ton of plastic on the figure itself. You can see I still have some on here, and it makes sense. I don't know if you've ever been brave enough to wear white pants, but a lot of stuff gets on it, a lot of stains. If there's ever a time to not pass gas while wearing white pants, is probably on the top list. If you ever go on Family Feud, survey says #1 for that one.
You see a fart?
Steve Harvey crazy. The figure comes with 5 pairs of hands and this little extra hand right here. 2 martial arts hands, 2 karate chopping hands. Hi-ya. These other 2 martial arts hands, they're kind of like a close palm, kind of not necessarily a wax on, wax off. I'd be interested to know if there's a name for these poses on the hands. I never got past day 1 of karate. They didn't teach us anything. We were just doing this all day. I don't got no time for that. I'm trying to break bricks. And you get these 2 hands for holding different items, and we'll see what those items are. And then this single right hand, it looks like for probably holding the sword Saba. Now what I like about all these hands is great detail. The line work for the back of the gloves is really cool. So the figure itself had all this plastic on it. The shield here doesn't come off, so it's very difficult to get the plastic underneath it off of it. I don't know how to get all that plastic off. I just use the pull the hell out of it method. So here we have the White Ranger. Awesome detail on the helmet here. It also has that latch just like the Green Ranger that gives it that 90s TV show look. The front of the shield as well as on the belt is a good bronze that's on there. Nice gold color with sculpt on here. The paint detail on here is really good. You have these golden armbands that are on here. They do move around, which is good for posing. Now once again, you have this white cloth for the suit, which you're gonna have to be careful with to try to keep it clean. Down on the boots, you have a nice golden detail on here. Back of the boots are keeping up with that aesthetic from the Green Ranger by having the zipper for the boots. Now what's awesome about this one is that on the Green Ranger, you can really see the seam line on the back of that figure. This one, if it's here, it's very well hidden under the shield. The articulation on the guy, because this cloth suit is here and you don't get a lot of play, it is stretchy, but you don't get a lot of play. Like, so the arms, I can only get up that far. You get 90 degrees in the elbow right there. A little bit of a side-to-side rock. Not much of a flex forward and back. A lot of articulation in the neck. Figure looks up very high, looks down very well. A lot of rotation side to side. You get plenty of articulation in this knee joint. The best part about it is that with this cloth, you don't have this ugly gap that's right here that we usually have with most of our figures. That's really cool, and it actually looks like muscles in there, even though it's just like the joints from the figure, so that gives it a nice detail. Ankle, you get a rock side to side, goes up and down. No toe hinge, which I'm kind of glad there's no toe hinge. I'm not really a fan of toe hinge most of the time. So aesthetically and with articulation, this figure is really awesome so far. But what are the accessories it comes with? Let's take a look at that. Figure comes with this extra Tommy head. Listen, it's very difficult for them to get the Jason David Frank look, but out of all the Tommy heads I've seen, I would gotta say this is probably the best one, and that's not saying a lot. As far as accessory goes, we do get this stand with the symbol of the White Ranger on there, which I really like this. Most companies, they kind of just give you a generic stand with the generic image, and you might get 5 figures into one line, they'll have the same stand just repeated. This one looks like we're getting original stands for each figure. So as I said in my review of the Mezco Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver was an instant hit with all the fans as soon as he came on the scene, except for that brief moment when him and Kimberly started flirting around. Wasn't a fan of that. But Tommy's time as the Green Ranger was just for a short window due to the fact that he got his powers from Rita. It was based on some type of wax candle thing that was running out, and he only had so much power. I don't know, eventually his power ran out, and so did the footage that they were using from Super Sentai to make the TV show. So I don't know if the two were correlated. But eventually Zordon decided to make another Ranger from the White Light of Good, and also they finally got their hands on some more footage of another Ranger and probably came up with a good plot line for it. Tommy was brought in and given the powers of the White Ranger. He was given the White Tiger Zord. One of the coolest things that I'm excited about is Saba, the sword of the White Ranger. I always thought it was really cool how the sword was a sentient being. His mouth would move. I don't remember if he was sarcastic or not. I don't remember much about his personality. I just remember it was cool to see a sword on there. I'm a fan of the Muppets. Anytime there's a puppet moving around, I get excited. We actually get two versions of Saba. We get a shorter version and a longer version. And honestly, besides the length, I don't see too much of a difference between these two. You get a little bit more of this black and white paint on the bottom here, which I never noticed, but it looks like it's the tiger tail, which is really cool. You get nice golden paint details. Top of it actually comes off because we have this extra accessory right here, so you can switch out Saba's head. And this one actually has some laser effects to make Saba shoot out some lasers, which is really cool. So you can pose your White Ranger blasting out somebody using Saba, or if you can like have Saba just kind of float in the air somehow, because he did that too. He flew, he talked mess, Saba. You got this blue effect here they can put on the bottom that gives it a chopping down, slicing look that you can use with your White Ranger. And yeah, there's other effects for a shorter, quicker movement. We like those details of how they're swooshing back. And you get this lightning effect, as well as this shiny, glimmery effect. I don't know what that one's for, but it looks cool. Check it out. And last but not least, you get this Sword of Light. If you guys don't know what this sword is, they use it when the Red, Yellow, and Black Ranger had to transfer their powers to their new replacements, both in the television show and in real life, because somebody got fired for basically little simple things like wanting to get paid properly. That's why we have all the colors of all the Rangers on here. You also get these cool effects for the Sword of Power to place on there to give it that lightning look and represent some of the colors for each of the Rangers that are on there. You also get this golden sheath that you can place on the side of his belt. You're able to place Saba there. Super excited now that I have this one in hand to see what the rest of the Rangers are gonna look like, have them all together on the collection. I really like the detail on this guy, the realism with the cloth. Now the downside of him, I have to really baby it, make sure it doesn't get dirty. If you guys haven't seen my review of the Mezco Green Ranger, click this video right here and we'll see you guys next time.